Gaming Morning Show continues. Thank you so much for being here. It is Tuesday, and we are so grateful to have a chance to talk about the game Dogs Organized Neatly. We welcome in Simone Mändl to the show. Good morning to you, Simone. How are you?
Hey, good morning. I'm good. How are you?
We are excellent. It's great to see you. Great to have you join us this morning because we like to cover some of these games, but it's interesting when we find a name of the morning game because we pick it just exclusively on a name alone. And I understand that Dogs Organized Neatly is a follow-up to Cats Organized Neatly. So I guess maybe this question is about that concept overall. How did the game come to be? What's the backstory of Dogs Organized Neatly?
My partner Joseph and me, we wanted to make games for a very long time. So we were searching for a game concept that was so small that we kind of couldn't fail. And I was really into photography Instagram at the time. And I don't know if you know this account, but there's an account called Things Organized Neatly. And they just organize like all of these office supplies super aesthetically. And I was like, I want to make a game like that. And then it kind of just morphed into cats after a while. And then we made Cats Organized Neatly. We released it on Steam, and then people were like, I love the cats, but I love dogs more. So then we made a dog version. Yeah.
Very, very cool. Uh, what did you learn in that process of making the first game that influenced or helped you when you were to make that second one?
Oh, probably that everything takes a lot longer than you might think. Because we already had the first game and we thought, oh, the second game is not going to take as long. But there were new challenges. We had to redo a bunch of stuff because when you make something and then you redo it a year later, you look at your old stuff and it's not as good as you could make it now. And then also that you're probably not going to work a full day of work, like not 8 hours a day on your game. You're going to spend so much time like replying to comments on your old game, managing Steam forums, communicating with people. So it's not just 8 hours of art and game development. So yeah, that is something where we were like, we thought like this wouldn't take as long.
Do you ever find yourself having to like stop yourself from going back and changing things from earlier that you're like, do you have to like consciously stop or do you ever go back and fix it?
Yeah. For dogs and cats organized neatly, we really only fix things if they're causing bugs. But like for example, effects maybe is something where we're like, we could do it better now, but we shouldn't because sometimes when you touch up one little thing, that breaks something else that you haven't anticipated. So it creates other bugs. So the best thing is just to be hands off. And one project where I'm constantly trying to fix old things is Virtual Cottage, which is kind of my personal project. And because it's a free game, I don't mind if things break, but there it just happens all the time. Like I see something that is not as well made, I redo it, and other stuff breaks.
I imagine that's got to be frustrating, but part of the exploration side too, and trying to figure out how to solve
Yeah.
problems. And I think it's neat. I was not a heavy gamer before we started doing the show, and as I've had a chance to listen to more folks making games like yourself, the community aspect of creating games. And one thing that struck me was a tweet that was put out about Dogs Organized Neatly about how community translators helped make the game available in more languages. Will you share us a glimpse into why that's important and how community members help in game development in general?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. It all started with Cats Organized Neatly. It was our first big release, and we wanted to have the game in more languages, specifically like big audiences that don't speak English. So we were like, okay, let's put out a Google document and let's just ask people, hey, if anyone on Steam wants to translate this, because we don't really have a lot of text in the game, we're going to take that and put it in the game, and your language is going to be in the game. And what was super cool about it is that, for example, we had somebody translate the game into Slovak, which isn't even available as
Wow.
an official language in Steam. So we have a bunch of these like smaller countries. We have those languages in our game, And I think, like, if you were to think about it economically, you would only add like the big 5 to 6 languages because you think, oh, I'm gonna add this, then I'm gonna make money off of it. But we were like, if somebody wants to translate it into like Slovak, give it to us. It's gonna take us a while to do some graphical assets. But if they put in the time, then we want to put in the time and like, yeah, implement that language. And that was just really, really cool.
You were a
And like,
So cool.
yeah.
yeah, I think that is really neat, and it would be one of my takeaways. That's pretty okay. You co-founded your studio. What's coming up with what you're working on after Dogs Organized Neatly? Because I think that was our name of the morning one day in November. Yeah. What's coming up next for you?
The next project already has a Steam page, and it's called Feed All Monsters. We tend to call our games after what you do in the game because we're not very creative with the names. But we started this game before we made Cats Organized Neatly. Like, that was another one of our prototypes, and then we have been working on it on and off for a couple of months. And we have a community manager / marketing freelancer helping us out. And he was like, you should put this up for the Steam Fest in February, so next month. And now we're finishing, like right now, we're finishing up the demo. And yeah, we're actually rushing a lot to get the demo for this game done by the end of the month. But yeah, after the third game, we're probably going to take a bit of a break because it's been 3-4 releases in 2 years, and yeah, but it's a lot of fun.
We have linked through to follow both the studio and your personal account. Simone, thank you for sharing with us Dogs Organized Neatly. In fact, it's Copia in our chat has purchased it as we've been talking to you. So very, very cool.
Yes.
The Steam page has been linked for Feed All Monsters. Simone, thank you so much for taking the time for Gaming Morning Show.
Thank you, Simone.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. And we'll have that interview posted on our YouTube page later on today. All right.